2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, happy Wednesday for the middle of the week. Boy, do we have plenty to cover right now. Congress, the House of Representatives meeting right now on the floor debating the continuing resolution to reopen up the government. We're going to play some of that live and when we come in here momentarily. Plus, did Donald Trump say that there's no talented people in the country? Really? We'll cover some of that. And, of course, Dr. Carol Lieberman, America's psychiatrist. She'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Let's have some fun today. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for a middle of the week. Hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Hey, happy Wednesday, middle of the week, rocking and rolling, setting that tone, carpe diemism across the board. That's what we do here on the show each and every day. Plenty to talk about, lots going on. The turnaround of support for Donald Trump. Are we seeing people starting to turn away from the Trump administration, or is it just a bunch of hooey from the mainstream media? We have that to cover. Plus, right now, I am watching the live feed of the House of Representatives doing their debate to open up the government again. They have their floor debates. Democrats showing up en masse, trying to really push to not reopen the government, saying it's a bad bill and somehow a super corrupt bill or something. I don't really get it, but we'll go live to that here in just a moment. First and foremost, welcome into it. Yeah, great to have you as we do our thing for a Wednesday middle of the week. And we have plenty to talk about for sure. Doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day on the program. Dr. Carol Lieberman will be on the program. She is America's psychiatrist and host of her own podcast known as voiceamerica.com. You can check her out there. We'll chat with her about the elections from last week, kind of the psychology behind the young generation voting for a socialist. What does that mean? So we'll get to that here in just a bit. But I want to go live first and foremost right now. Happening on the House Representative floor, Democrats showing up en masse, a back-and-forth debate between Republicans and Democrats. Some Democrats speaking right now, not really sure who they are, but really railing on this opening of the government. Again, they do not want to see the government open, and now they're trying to say that it's somehow a super corrupt bill padding the pockets of Republicans in the Senate. I don't know where that provision is in this bill. It's a clean CR, so I don't know what else you could possibly do. But let's see what they have to say here.
Enrichment and plunder of the taxpayer that not only did every single House Democrat oppose it in the Rules Committee last night, but multiple Republicans were denouncing it. That is, before they were summoned into a side room and instructed to vote for it, which they all proceeded to do. Now they're telling us, vote for it today, and they'll repeal it, well, maybe next week, or maybe the week after that, or maybe before Christmas, they'll repeal it. I've got a solution for you. If you don't like this corrupt provision, don't vote for it today. That will work. This is a great bill. A great bill, that is, if you think 8 Republican U.S. senators should have a right to collect at least $1 million in a jackpot bonanza payoff from the taxpayers simply because they were subject to the exact same rules all other Americans were subject to and are subject to now. And they don't propose to change those rules for anybody else, not for more than 300 million Americans, not for the members of the House of Representatives, not for governors and mayors, but for themselves. They want to deal themselves a special legal privilege. In this Republican class war, great
these
Gatsby
Democrats are pretty fired up,
economy
man.
where President Trump has made more than $3 billion since he reoccupied the White House, the federal building which he has proceeded to demolish in large part, where millions of Americans face losing their health care and their SNAP benefits. This provision is an affront to our taxpayers, to the rule of law, to everyone who believes. Could I ask for 15 seconds more? It is an affront to everyone who believes that we in public office must be the servants of the people, not the masters of the people who get special legal rights and privileges and multi-million-dollar payoffs. People who think that they
smell distractions.
have a right to better treatment than everybody else, like Ghislaine Maxwell in their prison camp where she gets room service, puppy time, and special gym.
What are we talking about? All right, I'm going to pot that down for a minute. I think Republicans are going to come on and counter some of that. I don't know what they're talking about. These guys are absolutely nuts. I smell the desperation. They are distracting any way they can. They have a PR nightmare before them by actually having 8 Democrats that sided with Republicans in order to pass it in the Senate to reopen up the government. Democrats have never splintered the way that they have before, so they are in a PR, and that's not knocking them, it's just an observation. Democrats have always been lockstep. Democrats have always been voting in a block. They never have individual wicked wild thought, and it didn't work for them, which is why we saw 8 Democrats actually step aside and vote with Republicans in order to pass up the government just a couple of days ago in the Senate. These Democrats in the House, they're irrelevant. As long as Republicans vote, they're irrelevant, just like Hakeem Jeffries that's been speaking on this, being the voice of this for so long. He's been irrelevant in the entire process. So now they have to distract. And they have to distract from how bad of the state of affairs they are for a Democrat Party. They have to distract on the fact that they admitted now that it is a Democrat shutdown because they said it was a Trump shutdown. It was Trump's fault. Nothing was getting funded. And then they are angry that Democrats caved to stop the government shutdown from continuing on. So that kind of admits that they're the ones to blame for why it wasn't opened up in the first place. And they're desperate, which is why we've seen news come out today about some new leaked email that coincidentally during all this is happening, that Donald Trump knew about the pedophilia with Jeffrey Epstein with young girls. He knew about it. And that's the call today. And now, of course, some provision that's padding the pockets of senators for $1 million or something. It's absolutely insane. Let's see what the Republicans have to say here.
Line is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today as we are in the process of ending the longest government shutdown in our nation's history, and to affirm that this Congress will get back to leading America into her next golden age. Over 40 days, that is how long the government has been closed. For over 40 days, Democrats here in this body and in the Senate have chosen chaos over our country. They chose to shut the government down because politics demanded it, not policy. The elites who dominate their party's decision-making are the ones least impacted by its decisions. Were the far-left activists and Democrats here in this body the ones not getting paychecks? No. Mr. Speaker, that was the air traffic controllers, our troops, and our Capitol police officers. When these same people passed Obamacare, were they the ones impacted by the law, or was it the middle-class teacher in North Carolina who could no longer keep their doctor? We all know the answer to that, Mr. Speaker, and across the nation, federal workers are working 2 and 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Also, Democrats could champion illegal aliens who exploit our compassion as they poison our communities with deadly fentanyl.
All right. We're gonna go away from that. We'll come back to it a little bit later. It is right now. It's essentially the talking points for elected officials, Republicans and Democrats, to come up, to say their spiel, to have their 2-minute glory, so that way they can campaign on it. They can use that video to say they stood up to make the fight happen. They're just ranting and just regurgitating different talking points from both sides of the aisle. At the end of the day, as long as the vote happens tonight, the House of Representatives will pass this bill. Republicans will vote for it. I don't know of any that won't, except for maybe Thomas Massey, who doesn't like the big government spending in it. But outside of that, I don't see anything else happening. So we'll check in in with that throughout the hour and see what they're saying. But it is interesting to watch this process with the attacks because Democrats are livid and they feel helpless, which makes them even angrier because they were powerless of actually making any type of difference or making a change. And we'll see what happens as the day goes on. All right, but I want to shift gears slightly.
What's trending today?
Speaking of it, real quick, our favorite person on the program, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
Kind of deflected during this whole PR nightmare and disaster that Democrats are trying to deal with right now, that they kind of deflected on the issue and the fact that she was asked earlier today about whether she would actually step in and challenge Chuck Schumer for the Senate race because of the lack of leadership that he had, and so many Democrats mad that he capitulated and actually caved in and was not able to hold on to his party as a unified voice to continue on with the government shutdown. And she didn't really answer the question.
Should Chuck Schumer stay as minority leader?
I think what is so important for folks to understand is that this problem is bigger than one person, and it actually is bigger than the minority leader in the Senate. You had 8 Senate Democrats who coordinated their own votes on this, as well as you have 2 retiring members. Many of them are also up in several cycles from now, with the hope that people are going to forget this moment. And I think what's important is that we understand that this is not just a leader is a reflection of the party.
Well, there you go. The leader is the reflection of the party, and she kind of took the backhanded jab at him. If he can't lead and be able to have a united caucus on the Democrat side in the Senate, then the party's only as strong as the leader, and she kind of teased at that. So, speculation, could we see an AOC run for the Senate in 2028, or will she be on the vice presidential ticket? That we will see as it gets closer. Either way, man, it's going to be funny to watch the Democrats try and bring her up as the next leader for the party. All right.
What's trending today?
We have to address something, I think, on this program. And it's unfortunate that we do. We haven't had to use this segment in a while, but I think it's a segment that we need to bring back because there has been an interview that has been taken insanely out of context, but it opens up the opportunity for conservatives and Republicans to have a bigger conversation about what the entire argument's been about. And we need to bring back the age-old segment here on this program.
What Donald Trump really meant to say.
All right. For those that may be relatively new to the program, we had to do this a long time ago because Donald Trump sometimes doesn't get the right words coming out of his mouth. And we know what he wants to say, but he doesn't just say it. And he does his Donald Trumpisms and sometimes doesn't come out as articulate or the way he's supposed to, or, of course, the media manipulates whatever he says to try and make it look as bad as humanly possible. So there was the interview that he did with Laura Ingraham on Fox News, talking about multiple different issues, but one of them that's made the stir-crazy news from the other side, really trying to rag on him on the fact that he doesn't care about America. It's no longer about America first, and some are starting to jump on board as well, saying, wait a second, did Donald Trump really say that? The question is regarding H-1B visas and whether there are talented enough individuals in the United States instead of bringing in immigrants to actually work in this country. Now, I want you to listen to what he has to say, and then we can break down what he meant to say, or did he say what he meant to say?
Does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
Okay, I want to stop it right there. Now, that is the clip that's been circulating on social media. That is the clip that has been circulating on a lot of Democrat pages saying, wait, we got him. If Republicans are all about America first, if Donald Trump's all about make America great again, if Donald Trump's all about making America first and making America great and America first priorities, then how in the world could he say, no, we don't have talented people in this nation? How could he possibly say such rhetoric?
Say what?
And, well, the question is, do you think that he was attacking American workers, or was there something else to it with
what Donald Trump really meant to say?
Ironically, what they usually don't post is the rest of the conversation, so to speak, which is where he said this.
You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
when you and I were
I'll give you
growing
an
up.
example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it.
Do we do that? It's an interesting point. We got to take a break. Mull it over the break. When we come back, I want you to think about this, but put it into this context. Do you remember under the Obama-Biden campaign when they were running for office and they made the relatively same remark that we're going to end all coal, there's no such thing as clean coal, and all those coal miners out there, it's got to learn to go back to school and learn how to code. Just become programmers. You're not going to be needed in that industry, so we're just going to update you to become computer programmers or something. Are we talking about the same type of situation here? Back after this on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of The Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Well, we have plenty of talented people
no,
here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Okay, so the conversation, Laura Ingraham, President Donald Trump, and do we have the talented workforce to be able to go into some of the industries that are coming here? We will get to that in just a minute. I want to tell you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. As you know, we are going into holiday season, and you have the opportunity to get 2 months free of service for your cell phone if you switch to Patriot Mobile right now. And here's how you can do it. You got plenty of phone options. You can transfer your own phone. You can transfer your own numbers if you want to, or you can buy new phones and new lines. You can put 2 lines going into the same phone. It doesn't really matter. With their 100% US-based customer service, you can actually have the transfer easy. They use all 3 major cell companies for their towers, so that way you get the same service without any type of glitches, and you're not supporting the left side of the aisle with companies that advocate for progressive values. They support so many great movements, so many great organizations, as they are the only Christian conservative wireless network in the United States. And if you go to Patriot Mobile right now, do me a favor, go to patriotmobile.com/holiday25. Holiday25 is the promo code. And you can pick out whatever you want, whatever your plan you want. You can get 2 months service of free, and tell them that we sent you right here on the Voice of Reason. Again, patriotmobile.com/holiday25 with us right here on the Voice of Reason. All right, do you remember back during, 2008, when it was the Barack Obama campaign with Joe Biden campaign, and they were talking about, well, it was kind of funny. Barack Obama said, we're going to go to clean coal, and we're going to use clean coal energy. And then Joe Biden said, no, there's no such thing as clean coal energy. Under their own ticket, they couldn't figure out what they were going to do. And the question came up to Joe Biden and said, well, hey, what about all the coal miners and coal workers in this nation? What do you do with a transitioning workforce when they're no longer needed? And Joe Biden said, well, there's plenty of opportunity. There's like coding and programming that they can do. They can go back to school and become programmers and coders, because that makes all the sense in the world. Because that was apparently just the way to transition. Now, the question's coming up now about certain jobs that Donald Trump's investing in and companies are investing in from all over the world to bring back here to the United States. Making our own pharmaceuticals, building our own computer chips, becoming less dependent on the nation of China and Korea and Vietnam, building more batteries for electric vehicles, doing all of these types of things that we've normally imported into the United States. Do we have some people that are up on it? Yes, we have some people that are up on it, but not very many. Again, this goes into the segment of
what Donald Trump really meant to say.
What was Donald Trump trying to say? No, he did not say, and you can listen to it very clearly, he did not say that we just have a bunch of dummies in this nation. What he's openly saying is these are new industries that we've just imported 100% of these products into the United States for, that we don't have a trained workforce for them. And until we can get a trained workforce for them, we have to bring people into the country through an H-1B visa in order to get these industries up and going. We have trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars that are being invested in this nation to make America first and to be less dependent on foreign nation imports into this country, to where we don't have to worry about tariffs. We can be self-sufficient, at least more than what we are, and that's a good thing. If you want to look at where we're at in this nation with a workforce that's capable of doing some of this, we really need to do a self-reflection and go back into the public education system, do we not? Headline from edweek.org. This one as of December of 2024, right before Donald Trump took office, that there's been a sharp and steep decline of U.S. students across the nation in public education that are falling behind globally in math and science. We have elementary school students in China, in Japan, and other nations that are building apps by the age of 6 and 7 years old. We have kids here in our schools that are banning cell phones in our public schools and not using a whole lot of technology. Worldwide, we are way behind on these. And if we've never built computer chips, if we've never built EV batteries, if we've never built our own pharmaceuticals, How do we have a workforce for it right out of the gate? We have to begin training people for these things, and it's going to take time. Until then, we have to import workers that know how to actually do this. There's nothing wrong with that mindset. We'll get there, but we have to be competitive globally again.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Hoosier Media Network continues to grow every single day with new shows, new content, and new information as we continue to fight the narrative against the mainstream and give you the alternative view of the world. The Hoosier Media Network is home to great TV, radio, and podcasting programs on any topic of any interest. From politics and current events to religion and spirituality, holistic and alternative health, entertainment, motivational speakers, and so much more. And with the Hoosier Media Network, you can enjoy great podcast programs like Safe Space with Cheyenne.
There is a show on Gaia, and it's called Galactic Messages, where they talk to the Taygetians out of the Pleiadian star system. There's a bunch of them in the Pleiadians, so they don't say they're Pleiades. They're Taygetians from the star system. And they were explaining how karma has been rewritten to work against us. So they're like, yes, if you do something, it sends out like that negative vibration. You do have to, like, it's kind of a boomerang you send out, it'll come back, and you need to make it right. But in order to make it right, you have to understand what you did. You have to forgive yourself, and then moving on, you don't do that again. So yeah, I'm not saying if like I killed someone in this life that I don't automatically have to come back and figure it out in another lifetime. But there's a lot of karma that people in the human race are holding on to because they either do it from a religious standpoint and then go continue to do it, and then just, you know, it's some weird cycle they're putting themselves in. So I, from a very humble and humility standpoint, have been like, guys, there's no way we're coming back, right? Like, we're doing the right things now. We have the rest of our life to dedicate to the good and to the light work and, you know, servicing humanity, so to speak. I'm like, but I barely made it through my 20s. So like, let's talk about what other dimensions I can go float around on, or maybe I can go just make sacred geometry and the 8 or 12 for a while. Like, I don't want to act very cocky when I say this is my last incarnation, but I really do feel that this is my last earthly incarnation, and I sleep well.
There's ego attached to that. I think there's a deep sense of knowing. First of all, I would like to submit that Earth is probably one of the greatest universities, spiritual universities in the galaxy. So when people say, what are you talking about? Earth is a prison, Earth is this, and Earth is an extraordinary opportunity to take a giant leap on your spiritual path, because it is a great higher education. It's a university for your spirit, for your soul to confront itself. And if you learn in this lifetime, not that you've made good or bad karma, because you didn't mention good karma, right? But not that you have to pay for your karma, not that you have to, that karma can, I mean, what you said doesn't exactly resonate with me. I believe that the idea of karma is this beautiful measure from which you can direct yourself to what you perceive as good or bad or right or wrong or ethical and moral, by not thinking, if I do this, I'm going to create bad karma, but just recognizing that you are in the end the master of your destiny, even if you perceive of a higher being, which of course I do, beyond your own being, because you are a creature you are a creature, let's say, of God. I like to refer to God as prime creator. Still, you have a framework where you are, like people say, well, let's just hope the universe handles it. And I always say, well, let's give the universe some help, because we are free will individuals still, and we came here to exercise that capacity to choose between the poles, the polar realities of good, bad, light, dark, etc. So if you're just going to sit back and say, well, let's wait for the universe to handle it, you're in passive mode, and I don't understand what you're doing here.
Listen to all these programs and so much more as we try to bring back knowledge, wisdom, and truth back into the world. And we do that right here with the Hooser Media Network, the future of media.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Zing! So Caroline Leavitt during the press conference today putting the beat down on the mainstream media, which, okay, again, even if, and I'm trying to play in the, in the center of the road here as the objective observer for just a moment, even if you think that Donald Trump is some type of pedophile and Donald Trump worked with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's trying to keep the Epstein files under, tight-lipped, locked and sealed and everything else, even if you believe that, isn't it a little strange that while the Democrats are going through a PR nightmare of caving into the Trump administration to reopen the government, to do what they've done, that all of a sudden now, during this, when they're trying to figure out what their next move is and how to rebrand themselves, that now's the time we're like, oh, we finally got an email about Donald Trump working with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, isn't it just a little bit strange? How many people really are still falling for the hysteria on a day-to-day basis, trying to do the distraction because I smell your desperation? So I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I don't think it really works. Don't think it works well. All right, let's go to our next guest here on the program, shall we?
What's trending today?
As we still try to come down off of the elections from last week, we're trying to put everything into perspective. We see the voter turnout in New York City, especially with Zohran Mamdani, the socialist that is now the mayor-elect for the city of New York. And by the way, we're now following the race in Seattle, Washington, where after some of their counts, it seems like that it's not confirmed yet that the mayor of Seattle is also the socialist candidate that's going to be winning that race. What's in the mindset of the young generation? What's in the mindset of the demographics that are turning out to vote, at least in this election this year? As we said on this program, the largest voter turnout in New York since 1969, over 2.4 million voters, 1.1 million of them that voted for Zohran Mamdani, that a vast majority, over 80%, first-time voters under the age of 30 and individuals that are foreigners that do not need to show apparently IDs when they go and vote in New York City. What's the mindset? Really happy to have on the program. It has been a while since we've had her on. She is known as America's psychiatrist and terrorist therapist. She is host of the Dr. Carol's Couch on voiceamerica.com and the Terrorist Therapist podcast. Really happy to have on here Dr. Carol Lieberman. Carol, how are you, my friend?
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it is great to have you on the show. I want to get into the mind of what the heck happened on Tuesday last week. Massive voter turnout. We had Zohran Mamdani out campaigning in nightclubs the weekend before. We have a bunch of 30-year-olds and under, and I'm part of the millennials, so I apologize for my millennial generation, but a whole bunch of young folk that are out there going to nightclubs that want free groceries and free bus rides, apparently. What's the mindset here? Why the heck did we see now Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani in New York City?
Well, I think there's some psychosis going on, and we should put some antipsychotics in the water. That seems to be the only solution. That a city, where I'm originally from, by the way, would, after 9/11, would vote for essentially a terrorist. It is crazy. Now, to go beyond that, it is adolescent thinking. Now, during adolescence, that is a time when people rebel against their parents. They try all kinds of new crazy things. They think nothing could happen to them, and it's just a time of being joyful about rebelling. Yeah. And that is basically what we had here. People, and I know they're not all teenagers. I'm not saying that. But they have the teenage mindset. They're regressed, and they believe that that this is just fun and games to vote for. It's like bringing home a date that your parents would hate.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Similar sort of thing.
I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I've told her many times, "Don't you dare ever bring a Democrat in this house when she starts dating. That's going to be bad juju." Now, you mentioned. Let's go back for just a moment. You mentioned, the I guess the PTSD of New York City still going through September 11th, the terrorist attacks. I mean, Zohran Mamdani is a Muslim. I don't discredit him for that. Okay, whatever. He's a Muslim. I don't really care. I know a lot of Muslims that aren't radicals and radicalized individuals. But the concerning part of this, though, Carol, is the fact that a lot of his campaign funds came from Middle Eastern countries that want to see this. I mean, that's the big concern here, right? I mean, who's really backing him? What are the special interests behind Zohran Mamdani? And what could that lead to as an influential person in New York City?
Well, yes. I mean, of course, it really just galls me that all of this is coming out now.
Yeah.
Where were these people? I mean, I know it came out a little bit before, but, where were these people? Where it counted earlier. Now when it's safe, now that he's already elected, now people are coming out and saying all kinds of things. Just because he's a Muslim, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a terrorist, of course.
Right.
But we know from his background, from this band that he used to be with, when he was a rapper, and he said all these lyrics, that were anti-Israel, anti-Jew. He has a whole history of this.
Well, he's never been able to denounce the global intifada. He never said that Israel should be a Jewish state. I mean, he's been very adamant that he's been, I guess, a smooth politician. He's never been able to say that he stands for the nation of Israel and he stands for the Jewish community. He's never said that.
Yes, and it's not a coincidence. And it's amazing that he got all the way into office not having admitted how he really felt. And the thing is, there are people who were his closest supporters, and of course, including from outside the United States, and who gave him a list of things that they want him to do. And it's basically things against Israel, things against Jews in New York. I was just in Israel volunteering, doing therapy with Israelis, post October 7th, and they couldn't believe it. New York at that time he hadn't been elected yet, but he was leading.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't believe this. But some of the things on this list are divest city pension funds from Israeli bonds and securities, withdraw city funds from banks that lend money to Israel, etc. City-run grocery stores free from Israeli products. Wow. I mean, on and on. Bringing back some of the divest City University of New York endowments and reinvest wrongly fired professors. These were professors who were teaching radicalism, and so on and so forth. Arrest Netanyahu if he should land in New York City. I mean, it's a whole list, and he is beholden to these people. These are the people who got him elected.
Right. Yeah, and that's the question. So his voters, are they aware of that and they support that agenda, or are they just the dumb young kids that heard about free stuff because of his socialism and thought that that was really cool? Where do his voters actually stand on this issue?
Well, I mean, I can explain why Jewish voters voted for him. I mean, yes, you could say the free buses, the free low rent apartments, the stores where, even though it's not going to have Israeli products, where it's going to be cheap, supposedly, although these government-run stores never work. Free buses, already the governor has said that can't happen because there's not going to be anybody taking care of the buses if they're all free.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a lot of ignorance. And what it comes from is schools, what is being taught in schools from elementary school on. The wrong history, lies for history of America, and a lot of anti-Semitism, and so kids who have been going to school, starting in whatever grade, have come with these beliefs, and they don't really know. I remember in school when there was teaching about what is capitalism, what is socialism, what is communism.
Right.
And I remember, I'll never forget, it was like 3 lists, and of course if you read that and studied that, you wouldn't want socialism or communism, but that's not how it's taught these days. It's taught like, oh yeah, and of course also, the son of one of the co-founders of Hamas, his name is Mossab Hassan Youssef. He really, he has been trying to warn America for years now, and people aren't listening. But he was saying about how Mandami is a Trojan horse. He's gotten in, and now we're going to see what his real beliefs are and plans are. And he's also an embodiment of the Red-Green Alliance, meaning red for communism and green for terrorism. And yes, the communists and the terrorists have kind of joined in an uncomfortable alliance, but they both want America to be destroyed. And so they're working together for that to happen. And he is an example of that.
It's very interesting. Well, it's a long-term agenda for them to try and move that needle down the road, and he would be a step towards that if that were the agenda. Carol, hang on the line. We got to take a hard break here. I want to get your experience. You said you just came back from Israel and helping out on the therapy side of helping individuals out there after what they've just gone through. I want to get your experience and tell some of those stories because I can only imagine what you've seen for how long you've been out there. Also, how we start getting this young generation back on track away from socialism, the re-education in the sense of showing them the light, common sense, and the fact that socialism is a complete failure and always has been. We'll talk about some of that when we come back around the corner for The Voice of Reason on a Wednesday. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
When it comes to something like sausage, I know you want the best quality, the best flavor, and the best in services. Andy Hooser here for J&S Smoked Snacks. And it's time for you to try their handcrafted sausage, made in small batches for freshness and seasoned with their signature blends. You won't find anything else like it. Make sure to try their one-of-the-kind dill pickle sausage made with real pickles, or spice things up with my favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. Taste the difference today at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosier-holics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back to the program. Great to have you here. We got a few minutes left as we wrap things up for a Wednesday here on the program. Midweek celebration, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. By the way, there is the vote going on right now, a vote happening in the House of Representatives. No, I don't know if it's the entire CR bill or if it's one of the amendments that they've tried to attach to the CR bill. But either way, it's a Republican-leaning portion of the bill, as right now 29 Republicans have voted yay, 54 Democrats have voted nay. There are still 189 Republicans and 160 in the Democrats that have not voted. So whatever it is, House Bill Resolution 873 that is being voted on as we speak, we'll see. I doubt they'll be done by the time that we're wrapping up on this program, but we'll keep you apprised for the last few minutes that we have on the show.
What's trending today?
That's right. Right now we're hanging out. A great conversation with Dr. Carol Lieberman. She is Dr. Carol's coach. Dr. Carol's Couch on VoiceAmerica.com is her show there. Also podcast, The Terrorist Therapist podcast, also known as America's Psychiatrist. Carol, you mentioned that you went to Israel. I got to hear some of the stories. What was the experience going to Israel, talking to these individuals, helping them work through the craziness that's gone on for the past couple of years with this conflict, now that, knock on wood, we have a ceasefire and have not seen as much conflict in that region?
Well, it was incredibly gratifying. I worked with people who were regular citizens, civilians, hostages, hostage families, IDF, all kinds of people. And if you would look at Israel from the sky, you know, like a view from a bird, bird's eye view, you would think that you wouldn't really necessarily be able to tell that there was anything wrong. But if you know, speaking to them one-on-one, Israelis have incredible resilience, but this has been taken a great toll. You know, in some people who, even on people who either didn't lose anyone or, you know, didn't have a hostage, just were normal civilians, you know, living their life. It's still, I mean, the fact that this happened to their country is still taking an enormous toll. And, you know, I say that if you looked from above, you wouldn't necessarily see anything. But one of the most profound moments I had was sitting at a restaurant. It was a street where there were two restaurants on either side, and the tables were in the street. You know, cars didn't come in the street. It was just walking. And people were talking and laughing and eating, and all of a sudden, there was a siren. And everything stopped. People froze and didn't come back to life for like 10 seconds at least because they didn't know what kind of siren it was. We actually didn't see what it was. You know, I don't know if it was an ambulance or a fire siren or whatever, but it, you know, it is so close to the surface that something like this could have such a profound effect.
Well, God bless you for doing that. I've never thought of the psychological standpoint. I mean, I can imagine that it's very traumatizing. At the same time, I always see these nations that are in constant war, and Israel has always had constant conflict. Most people there have served in the military in some fashion to try and defend, you know, the nation of Israel. And I've always seen them as, you know, almost like ancient times, to where you're so accustomed to war and death around you all the time that it just becomes kind of the norm, and you're hardened to it, and maybe that emotional part of you is just kind of cut off. And I always see Americans, unfortunately, as, you know, very soft and sensitive in that aspect, because we're never around it, which is probably a good thing. So God bless you for doing that, because it's interesting to see what kind of state of mind that someone that's always around conflict like that and war would be in just their average everyday life.
Well, they're not hardened. I mean, they're resilient in the sense that they can keep on keeping on, whatever they have to do. But they are also soft-hearted, you know, soft-hearted when it comes to the people, and soft-hearted when it comes to their country. I mean, they are very profoundly dedicated and in love with each other and the country, and so it's not, you know, it's not like perhaps some other countries where, yes, they're used to it all the time. I actually did my most recent terrorist therapist podcast on who's more in danger, Israelis or New Yorkers.
Oh, wow.
Now, of course, you would say, you know, before Mandami, you would say Israelis, right?
Yeah. It's up in the air. It's up in the air to see. That's interesting. It's a wild time for sure, and thank you for going out in Israel and doing that and being America's Psychiatrist, breaking down the mental state that we're in. We have a lot of fixing up to do with our brains, so we got to get you back on the show and do it again real soon. It is Dr. Carol Lieberman, the Terrorist Therapist podcast. You can go and find that. Also, you can find her on voiceamerica.com with Dr. Carol's Couch. Carol, thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend. It's always great to chat with you. Let's do it again soon.
Okay, my pleasure.
Hey, appreciate it very much, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Great conversation, and really puts things into perspective, what they've gone through, what we don't want to go through here in this nation, and how to preserve our culture, how to preserve who we are as non-socialists, as American capitalists, and living the American dream, giving that opportunity for everyone. We got to continue on with that, and that leads into the elections for midterms next year. Until then, though, back at it again tomorrow. We'll see you back on the radio. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on on religion and spirituality, hear entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.
From San Antonio, Texas,